Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. In this video, we're looking at the short three-game Tuesday slate starting at 7:30 for NBA. So let's get started. As always, appreciate you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Twitter at the DFS Process for updates. You can check out Prize Picks and use a promo code Process for a deposit match up to $100. And let's get into it. You can check out the website as well. Links in the description. So only three games. We'll go position by position here. Starting off at point guard, you have Russell Westbrook, who was limited to just 25 minutes after missing quite some time, a couple weeks with a quadriceps injury. So I think his minutes will probably get up to like 28 at least tonight. We'll see if he's no longer, if they just kind of had it for a one-game thing. But either way, we've got to get some sort of no word that he's not on a limit, or if he is on a limit, then we can look to like Bradley Beal or look to some other studs. So not that interested right now, just with not knowing how many minutes he's going to play. If Trae Young is back tonight, I think he looks great against the Clippers. Clippers are going to be a big-time defensive upgrade for the Hawks here in terms of not having to deal with Kawhi and Paul George. So good defensive spot for, or a good offensive spot for the Hawks now that those two good defenders are missing for the Clippers. Should be a lot closer of a game. Hawks probably can win this game if they have Trae Young in there, maybe Capella if he's back as well. So if he's in, I like Trae Young a lot at that price tag. You also have really good price tags on, especially John Wall, who's only 6,900. He only had to play 20 minutes. They won by 25 points against the Mavs the other day, and John Wall also missed some time. But if this game is closer, or at least like a lot closer than it was against Dallas, where you play like 1 or 2 minutes in the fourth, that's it. But if this game is close, he's probably going to be in the 30s in minutes. We'll see, because they did limit his minutes a little bit last game, but I don't know if that was just a one-time thing. Also, John Wall facing his former team. Maybe he has some revenge on his mind. We know he wanted to get out of Washington. Show them what they're missing right now. So I do like John Wall. His price tag is just super cheap. He's never going to be below $7,000 for very long. So I do think he looks like a great option at point guard. You have Oladipo at 7,900. He looks good as well, but I like John Wall for $1,000 cheaper. And then the Clippers side, they did price up Reggie Jackson. So I'd rather go to Lou Williams, who's only 5,800, get $1,000 savings from Reggie Jackson. Even if he doesn't start, he should see good minutes off the bench. Probably will get like 30-plus minutes tonight, and should be able to capitalize against this Hawks team. Also, Lou Williams' former team, Atlanta Hawks, so he looks like a good guy to target if you want to play some revenge narratives. Last night, the revenge narrative was pretty strong. LeBron went nuts. Also, you had Andrew Wiggins go nuts as well. So maybe John Wall, Lou Williams can kind of carry that into tonight. And then some other guys at point guard that look okay are like Conley. I'm not that interested just because I like some other guys, but he looks like an okay option on a three-game slate. Not interested in Clarkson or Elfrid Payton now that Quickly is getting some more minutes and now that Burks is healthy and getting a lot of minutes. And then you can look to Rondo if they are still without Trae Young tonight. So kind of touched on all the point guards options for tonight. Let's go over to shooting guard. You have Bradley Beal at 9,900. He looks like a really strong option if Russell Westbrook continues to be limited. He looks good either way. He played 32 minutes. That game got out of hand late, but so he probably lost a little bit of a couple minutes. But even after missing like 2 weeks before they had a game, he still didn't look too rusty out there. So he looks like a solid option as a stud to target. You have like Lou Williams you can play here. You have Luke Canard, who I think looks fine as well at $6,000. I prefer Canard to like Reggie Jackson, who's like 6,800. And then you have like Alec Burks, who looks fine too. He's getting more and more minutes. He started last game in place of like Bullock. I think Bullock might have been dealing with an injury, but Burks looks good. He's gonna get more minutes anyways going forward. So at shooting guard, you have Lou Williams, who looks good. Luke Canard, who I like at 6,000. And then some cheap plays, you have Garrison Matthews. Joe Ingles is only 4,300. Ingles looks like a decent option, but you also have like Matthews will play some, but Jerome Robinson looks like a good option at only $4,000. The Wizards super limited with injuries. Half their team is out again tonight with COVID protocols, so Robinson should see 30-plus minutes, and at only $4,000 looks like a good value option. At small forward here, you have not too many pay up options because no longer can we play Kawhi Leonard at 10-1. So I'm not that interested in Eric Gordon now that Oladipo and John Wall are both in the lineups. Now that Daniel House said he's going to play, so we could see Gordon come off the bench, and I don't think I want to pay 67 for him. He was good when he was starting and when they were missing some guys, but I just don't want to jump on a increasing price tag when the role should be diminishing. Other guys at small forward that look fine are DeAndre Hunter, who had a big game without Trae Young and Capella last game, played 42 minutes against the Bucks. Was him and John Collins kind of kept them in the game for most of the night. But if Young and Capella miss again, I think Hunter looks like a good option in the 6K range. Batum looks okay. I like some other guys, but he looks fine. I do like Morris a lot more than Batum. He's at power forward eligible as well, but you can also play him at small forward if you want. And then I'm not interested in Tate now that the Rockets are getting healthier, except for Christian Wood, who's still out. And that's pretty much it for the small forward position. Power forward, you have Julius Randle, who's pretty expensive at 97. I think there's some better pay-up options, so I'm not that interested tonight. Collins looks good if Capella misses. Hunter looks fine, like I mentioned, if no Trae Young again. And then you can play Marcus Morris here at 47. He looks to be one of the best value plays on the Clippers tonight. So he looks like a good option. And then at center here, you have a couple guys that look really good. Like Rudy Gobert's price tag is only 7,200 against the Knicks. He's a guy that's averaging a double-double on the season. Should expect, you can basically pencil him in for a double-double against the Knicks. Some of these games have got out of hand, so he's only had to play 24, 30, 30 minutes, but he's a guy that in close games, you will expect him to play. A lot of these games have been out of hand for the Jazz because they have been winning a lot, but you would expect him to play 34, 35 minutes in closer games, and this looks to be a good option at a cheap price point. Could play Serge Ibaka as well at 66, but Draftkings continues to price Cousins really affordable at only $6,000 without Christian Wood. And then you have Favors. I think he's probable, so one of these days, if Favors misses, then that will just bump up Gobert's minutes. And then you have Robin Lopez, just with how banged up the Wizards are. He's a guy that's going to play 24 to 28 minutes, depending on if he's playing well or not. But Cousins is the guy that you want at center. A guy that has 60-point upside at only $6,000. Just super tough to fade on a 3-game slate. And then going back to my last option here at guard, you still have 7,500 left, so you have plenty to pay up for another guy. I think Trae Young looks like a good option if he's in. At 91, I'll just have him in here. It's the first game of the night, so we'll know if he's in or not. But tough to pass up on that price tag on Trae Young when the Clippers are really short-handed. You can also go up to Bradley Beal if you want to, but I like Young for a little bit of savings. And that's it for the DraftKings side. Let's jump over to Fanduel. All right, on Fanduel here, starting off at point guard, you have Trae Young is pretty expensive at 10.6. So I like him a lot more on DraftKings. Still playable on Fanduel, but you do have some other guys to consider, like John Wall at a nice price tag at 77, Lou Williams at only 6,000, and then Reggie Jackson is 5,000. So I think Jackson looks a little bit better than Lou Williams on Fanduel at least. Unlike DraftKings, where he's $1,000 more expensive, he's $1,000 cheaper than Lou Williams on Fanduel. That's mainly the guys to consider. I think still like to have John Wall in there at 77. At shooting guard, Bradley Beal looks good at this position, especially when you have Victor Oladipo priced at almost 9,000. Oladipo still looks playable, but now that John Wall is in there playing alongside Oladipo, it's going to take a little bit of a hit to his production. So I do like Bradley Beal. You have Luke Canard, who looks great at only 5,500. He's going to play probably 30 to 35 minutes tonight at least. It's a good spot for him against the Hawks. They play fast. Other guys to look at are like Kevin Huerter. If they're still missing some guys, he's only 48, so he would be a nice option. And that's mainly it. So only a few guys I'm really considering heavily. Small forward, you have like Barrett is 75. I don't feel great about paying that much for him against the Jazz. So I think you can make a case for Gordon at 6,000. You can definitely play DeAndre Hunter. You have Batum at this position. And then to go cheap here, you have Garrison Matthews at 36 or 43. And you have like maybe His house min price is 4,000. Couple guys to consider also at point guard. I forgot to mention like Robinson is 3,600. He would be a nice option. Probably look better than like Patrick probably looks better than both of the Clippers cheap or both the Clippers point guards. But back to small forward, I'm gonna have to kind of see what I kind of end up with. It's kind of a tough position. Don't have that much that jumps off. So I'll probably just play like DeAndre Hunter for now, and then maybe. I mean, he looks good even if they're healthy. But look, he will look really good if they happen to miss Capella and or Trae Young. At power forward, definitely you can play Julius Randle at this position. Collins if there's no Capella. I like Marcus Morris at 5,000. He looks good. You have Isaac Bonga at 4,200. He looks like a decent option, but there's some better plays. And it's kind of it. And then last but not least, at center here, like Clint Capella, if he's in, he's 10,500. This is going to be a fine spot for him because he will match up pretty well against like Serge Ibaka, who has Capella just has a big size advantage over him. But I still like DeMarcus Cousins and his price tag on Fanduel at 7,200. You can make a case for Robin Lopez or Mitchell Robinson as well, but I just want to play Cousins on both sides. And that still leaves you with 7,200 left, so still have plenty of room to pay up for a couple guys, but basically it for the video. Thank you guys for watching, and good luck tonight.